What's up, guys?
And welcome back to another episode of the Rec Podcast.
Welcome back, y'all. We are so excited to have you guys here again. If you guys are listening on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, or if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome back to another episode of
Hey, we're so excited. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different.
Yes.
Number one, let's just address. Sorry, Mikey. I'm going to say this before we start the episode.
Something
Gabe.
just fell.
Gabe.
I think it was.
It was Gabriel or Danny. Anyways. Okay. It was not Alicia. So the reason we didn't have an episode last week was because I lost my voice really bad.
So let's address that really quickly.
My voice is back now.
As
I'll
you
tell
can
my
tell.
testimony another day because I really want to talk about what
Yeah,
happened
let's
this
talk
week.
about it. Mhm.
Not today.
No, I know.
It's a long story. But hey, my voice is back, y'all.
Oh,
So
praise
we're
God.
back with an
God is good.
episode. And in the previous episode that we released with Julia, we talked about how we have two new additions to our team.
Yes.
One of them being Alicia. Oh my gosh, wait, that means we have to bring you on soon.
Hey, Alicia's
Okay,
gonna come on soon.
She is now gonna be like coordinating our social media and like helping us out with that. And I also mentioned somebody named, I'm not gonna say Michael or Mikey or Mike or
They're
and
all
money.
the same. They're all the
Or-
same.
Mikey.
Money Garas.
Money Garas.
Money Garas.
Money
Our
Garas.
guy Mikey, he is our editor of all of our episodes now. So we just want to say thank you, and we also want you guys to meet him. So without further ado, here's Mikey.
Guys,
Yay!
welcome Mikey.
Hi.
So this is Mikey Garas. If you guys don't know,
Very uncomfortable.
it's okay.
He's a little camera shy.
I'm camera shy too, bro.
Nick, be so for real.
What?
You are not camera shy.
I am camera shy. Do you know how many times I have to do videos again and again and
Well,
again and
that's
again and
just 'cause you
again?
mess up, not because you're camera shy.
It's because I'm camera shy too. But I'm in a different level of camera shy. Like I could talk, but then I'll like stutter, mess up, and then like, okay, whatever. Anyways, the reason why we know Mikey Garas is actually through me and Danny. Shout out Danny, he's in the back. We went to the same youth group together, and Mikey was also
Julia's
at this
youth group that we
Julia's
talked
youth group.
about.
She actually talked about that in the last episode. And Mikey was also at this youth group, and we became good friends in the back of the media room. He would always do the
Pro presenter.
The pro presenter. Danny would do sound.
That is awesome.
Sometimes I'd go on lights. Very occasionally, me and Danny almost gave Mikey a seizure one time doing lights. Do you remember that
was
story?
you?
Do you remember that story?
That
I've
was.
heard about this
I
story.
remember it happening.
It was Mikey was like, "Stop, please! You're gonna kill me!" But it was
Poor Mikey.
but it was good times, and I'm glad to have you back, man. I'm glad. Why is everyone laughing? Oh my gosh.
We need
No.
to give them a camera and a microphone in
We
the back.
should. Yo, let us know if we should have like a little like.
I feel
Behind
like
the
on
scenes
episodes
camera.
like this, we should have a behind the scenes.
We should. We
mic.
did that one time where we would kind of record like, and someone like
Oh,
would
yeah.
have the mics and stuff like that. Maybe
If
we
y'all
should-
want to take a mic, I mean, feel free.
just.
Okay. Oh, he said we got a mic. That's Mike. Ba-da-ching.
But
Oh, we also have to download a ba-da-ching.
oh, we
sound
do.
effect.
We've been talking about that for a long
Yeah,
time.
and I keep forgetting.
We
Write it
gotta
down.
do that.
Anyways.
But
Mikey,
anyways, guys,
introduce yourself before we talk more.
that's Mikey.
Hi. I'm Michael. I don't know. I already know you, so there's no.
Yeah, but they don't know you.
But
so
they don't know you.
How old are you? Like, what do you do?
I am. Okay, so my name is Michael. I am 23 years old, and I am a cinematographer and photographer.
That's sick,
She's
bro.
very sick.
Very cool.
And how long have you been doing this for?
Since I was 14.
Nice.
And you have your own company now too, right? Moonlight Productions.
Yeah, we just started in November of 24.
And how's that going?
Slow.
But it's getting there,
But
right?
it's good, yeah.
It's getting
It's
there.
really
It's getting
good.
And it's your dream too. So I imagine that's like what you love to do, and etc. But hey, man, as we always do for every episode, we'd like to know, man, like how did it all start? Like where did Jesus come down the road with you?
So back when I was like 13, 14, my dad met some dude who ended up having his own youth group, and my dad was really trying to get me into the whole church thing because I was not very Christ-like.
Wait, did you grow up in church?
Yes, but I wasn't like
Right.
super
Yeah.
into it.
Because my parents are making me go.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So they for like the first year, I was kind of like forced to go to the youth group because I also really did not want to go. And then eventually I started liking it. There was this one time when I was about 15 or 16. We ended up going to a conference in Kansas City, and that's sort of where I had like my first major encounter. And then after that, I've sort of kind of been growing, I guess, in faith. And then that youth group actually got like stopped by
the youth group that your dad introduced you to, right?
Yeah, it got stopped by the story I was told was got stopped by the state, like by the town.
Oh wow!
Like they shut us down.
Why? Because it was like so big or something?
No, I think it was because we didn't have the right like permits for the building and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it stopped. And then I ended up going. My best friend in high school, his name is Caleb, which is Danny's Julia's brother and Danny's brother-in-law.
Shout out Caleb.
Caleb went to this church that Nick and Danny are a part of, and then that's sort of how I met Nick and Danny. And then
we gave you some real trouble, huh?
Absolutely.
We annoyed you so much, didn't we?
Very much.
Still does. They still do.
Still, just before recording.
Yeah. You should have seen.
You should have seen what happened.
Mind you, it is currently 9:52.
Probably the latest we've recorded.
9:52?
Yes, it's 9:50. That's how I said we got
got here at 8 p.m. They got here at like 7:30.
Yeah, it's probably the latest we've ever recorded an episode, but
Whoops.
it's all good.
That was my fault.
No, but it's for
And it
yours.
was me and Alicia because I'm graduating on Wednesday, and me and Alicia were decorating my cap. So yeah.
But it's for a good cause, though.
Anyways.
I don't.
Sorry.
No, you were saying how you met us at
they
the
gave
church
you
that
a
we
lot
were
of
at?
trouble.
Right, and then stayed there till I was about till 17, and then sort of I was going there and to this house of prayer that I was introduced to by my old youth group, and then I met my mentor there. Then ended up going to college for cinematography. 2 years later, I came back. My mentor ended up working at a different church, which I now work at, and I recently got reintroduced into the Nick and Danny group. I don't remember how, but
I think
because you showed
you're
up on
the one that
Memorial
reached
Day.
out to us, right? Or reached out to Danny?
no, one of
no,
I
I reached
saw
out to
each
you.
other at
but-
Applebee's.
yeah.
I reached out to you. That's how it worked.
Because y'all saw each other at
Because I wanted to go to the same college that you went to.
Oh, right.
That's how it started.
Yeah, so
I
Nick
reached
was
out to
asking
you,
some
and then we-
questions, and then we connected
and then
again.
we connected again. We started talking. I was like, yo, we should hang out. And then that's when Danny got involved, and we kind of made a group chat. And we were like, yo, let's hang out. And then we did actually hang out.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've been kind of tight again.
Yep.
Which has
And
been
then
pretty cool.
like 4 weeks after we met up, Nick was like, yo, so the podcast kind of needs an editor. Would you like to do it? And I said, okay.
And I will say, I only met you on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But for like a good year, Nick has been talking about like, yo, this guy's really good. We should bring him on. And I'm like, not right now. Like, it's not the right time. And now it's the right time.
That was the right
And we
time.
were praying about it, and Mikey said yes. And so, yeah, now we're here.
Fun times.
Yeah.
And
Basically.
now you're so to all the people who are wondering who's the editor now, our editor
it.
is Mikey Garas. And I just wanted to say
Michael Garas.
or Michael Garas. it's still,
It's the same.
it's still
No,
the
because they always stay calling you Mikey. Every time I heard a story about you, they say
I
Mikey.
don't know where that name came from, but
Mikey.
that's fine,
Do they only call you that in this group?
probably right.
I guess.
Like,
Do-
what do people call you elsewhere? Michael?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's when I told my friend, because someone that goes to my school, if she's watching this, hey, knows him. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know Mikey Garas? And she was like, who?
Yeah.
And now it hits me like, oh, yeah.
so we're
'cause
the
no
only
one else
people who
calls
call you
that.
Mikey Garas.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I started
think-
calling. No, you would call him Mikey Garas.
You know what, Nick? Can I just say? That sounds like something you do.
Probably, yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Probably. I was
Like, it sounds
probably
like a nickname you'd give.
Mikey.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I remember back then everyone referred to him as Mikey.
I think
Anyway.
it was
I gotta
Caleb.
Or it's probably
Oh, it might have been
Caleb.
I think it was Caleb, and then Danny picked it up, and then Nick picked it
And
up,
then I picked
Yeah.
and then
now everyone else picked
now
it up.
it's
Now it's in the world.
that.
Now it's on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I made my email that because Caleb called me that
out.
so
Are you
often.
Are you serious?
Yep, that is my email. I was wondering why I ever thought that was a good name,
That's
and I'm
crazy.
kind of re-remembering that now.
That's
So
crazy.
if you want to email Mikey, I mean, you
Email Mikey.
There you go.
Hey, email Mikey. But listen, I wanted to go back to that first encounter that you had, right? How was it specifically? Was it like a very like, would you say it was like a crazy encounter, or was it just like, I don't know, just something like a different feeling, something that you felt in the atmosphere that kind of just changed your life from there?
More towards the second thing that you said.
Yeah.
I don't really remember. I have a really bad memory.
Wait, pause. You were 16?
Yeah.
Okay.
16 at the time.
So, or however old I was in 2016.
So that
So
was
if you're 23
9 years
now-
ago.
So that would you were.
It's
I
10
was-
p.m. I'm not thinking about math.
I was between the ages of 14 and 16,
Okay.
Probably. I think you were 15.
15.
15.
And then, yep, I don't know. It was just different. That was like my first like super evangelical, like non-denominational Christian experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Cause I kind of grew up like, my dad's Coptic Orthodox.
Mhm.
My mom's some other Orthodox.
Yeah.
So
Is it your first time that you kind of like stepped away from that and went into like a non-denominational thing?
the youth group that I went to was it was non-denominational, but the event that I went to was like
Super not.
Yeah.
super non-denominational, and
Yeah.
it was just a lot.
And I think we also should say you're the only non-Brazilian in our team.
Oh yeah,
Not Brazilian.
I have no idea what they're saying half the time.
So
we gotta kind of.
wait, but I need to talk about this because this really made me upset. Because my whole life, they're like, yeah, so this guy, Mikey, he is Egyptian and he's Russian. And I'm like, oh, that's so sick. So I meet him and I'm like, oh, yeah, they told me you're Russian. He's like, I'm not Russian, I'm Georgian.
Well, I told everybody that I was
And
Russian.
then you told me that. And I was
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? So why did you tell everybody you're
'Cause
Russian?
growing up, nobody knew that Georgia was a country.
Everyone
Which
just
I
thought it
will
was a
say,
state.
I only found out about it when during the games.
Because
The
of soccer, because
yeah.
of the Euros.
Yeah,
the
but
Euro
back
Cup.
then nobody knew.
Euro Cup.
So I would always just instead of taking the time to explain where geographically Georgia was, I just told people I was Russian,
Yeah.
which really upset my mom because
I
we
can
fought for our independence, or they fought for their independence
From
off
Russia.
from Russia. I mean, I didn't fight for my independence from Russia.
Hey, I'm American.
I'm American.
I'm American.
America.
Right.
So
Happy 4th.
Yeah, but to all the FIFA players out there, I was telling him, it was like anyone that plays FIFA, they know like almost all of these countries.
I also don't care about soccer, and he had a 30-minute conversation with me about soccer,
Nicholas.
and
Because I was telling him how Georgia actually made it pretty far in the Euros, and they did a good
And he
job.
just has no
But you
idea.
knew about it too, right? You said that you knew.
I just
about
knew
it.
they did something in soccer.
That's it.
I really,
I just know they did something in soccer.
yeah.
That's crazy. But look, Mike, it's so crazy to see that like ever since that experience, clearly like that encounter, something radically changed in your life. And would you say like it was something like quick, or was it still like a slow process in like the growing of the faith?
So like, super slow. Mostly because I had to like unlearn a lot and then relearn it. And then I also when I was being raised up, I wasn't raised super spiritual.
Got you.
So
It's more following religion.
yeah, so the whole spiritual stuff like didn't make sense to me until like maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I started working at the church that I work at now.
Yeah.
So still pretty fresh to me, but it was like a slow process for me to like kind of get into that whole thing. I didn't really understand why people were like super like falling out in the spirit and all that. And that like freaked me out. Like I thought I joined a cult. And then I don't know, it kind of all blends together. There's not really a set time or anything that
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's what it's like for most people,
Mhm.
which is why it's really hard for people to even, like, people who grew up in church to share their testimony.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my testimony was super boring. But it's like, that's
Yeah.
so beautiful. It's not boring because Jesus was working. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was a slow process, like, he was there in every single, I feel like that's kind of my testimony a little bit because I grew up in church.
Mhm.
But I did have a moment where I was very depressed, very anxious. And so, I used to be like, oh, my testimony is so boring. I grew up in church, and then I found Jesus, and like I'm fine now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's so much deeper than just
well, I guess
that.
like explaining it doesn't sound very deep, but then
Mhm.
nobody else who hears the story was there for the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's like the precursor that you don't really talk about, and then there's the everything that happened after that. So like
Yeah.
you don't know. Like I was also depressed and very not in a good place and super anxious and super like I was a people pleaser, and I also like I wasn't confident or had the ability to kind of like form my own opinions about anything because I always wanted to please everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took a long time for me to like get like for God to work that out of me. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't talk about that often. I don't know why. It's not like I'm embarrassed
No,
by it or
right.
anything, but I don't know. I guess that kind of nobody really knows that part. And then whenever you talk about your testimony, it's like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
nobody knows that. So they don't really see the whole result.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel that because a lot of people sometimes they'll tell their testimonies and it's like they'll give like a sometimes you'll see like videos, right, where like someone goes like debunks the whole thing, but even if they debunk the whole thing, it's like they weren't actually like you're not there. You know what I'm saying? You haven't lived through
Mhm.
that testimony. So it's kind of hard for you to kind of understand sometimes like those moments, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Even if you were to explain it. So I do understand where you're coming from that. And would you say that mentor that you were talking about was someone that definitely helped you kind of unlearn all these habits? Because I'm saying this because I know that a lot of Christians like they always say that like especially the ones that I've always like been influenced by and look up to. They say like, man, getting a mentor
Mm-hmm.
or some sort of like Christian counseling is like the best thing that you could do because it keeps your feet in the right track. Would you say what that mentor did that for you?
Eventually, yeah. Not in the beginning. He did like he was, like guiding me, I guess, in faith. But
Yeah.
he was my mentor for like my career, like
Mm,
cinematography
right,
and
right, right.
photography. That's what he does. So he taught me everything that he knows, and um, I guess he did I guess preach to me or like talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
faith and kind of guide me in that and explain things that I wasn't super like knowledgeable in, and I guess that helped, but he didn't really start like going that deep into it, anything until I came back from school, and then we started working at the
Mm.
same church together.
Yeah. And it's been good ever since. Like y'all have been making like really cool stuff together and all that.
Yeah, we work on a lot of projects. I'm most of the time I'm his second shooter, and then now that we both have the same type of company, he also has my company is a social media marketing agency.
Mm-hmm.
His company is also a social media marketing agency. I think it was just natural that I followed in his footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess we're kind of just working on separate projects, but we also help each other out all the time. It's kind of cool.
That's great, man. And just another question that I wanted to ask, like, how have you been able to use this gift clearly of cinematography, of photography, and how have you been able to use that, for the glory of the Lord? Like, how have you been able to do that, if you don't mind me asking?
So, I mean, ever since I was young, I was on the media team
Yeah.
for youth groups and, churches that I do things for.
Which I feel like is like a new thing though,
But
right? Do you?
um,
How was that? How was that? Kind of like 10 years ago.
honestly, the experience is kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Not much has really changed. I guess it's just more about the intensity of not intensity, but like the range
Mm-hmm.
that youth groups do it, because some groups are like a lot smaller, so they don't really focus on that stuff. And like for example, the youth group that I'm with now, we like a lot of our focus is on media. So like we got to get pictures for social media because that's how we connect with most of the kids to bring them out. We record our sermons, which is pretty standard, but there's youth groups that I've been at that don't do that.
No, but I get what you mean. Like it's not.
Yeah.
They're not focused on that primarily.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so media's, I mean, to be able to, record like worship and be able to post that and then like have people outside of that experience that. So like if you're scrolling through Instagram and you have
Yeah.
like a worship moment just because, that was recorded,
Mhm.
or same thing with like sermon clips, there was a good part of the message that gets shared online, and then,
Yeah. And that
a
can make an
person gets
impact.
saved from that. That's kind of important.
Yeah.
Like an indirect kind of preaching.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I've worked with churches, not necessarily for their sermons and stuff, but like are recording their content, but I've like shot promotional content for them. Like whenever churches have events happening or they have events that go on, they like to have like recaps or type stuff.
Yeah.
Type stuff.
We get it.
No, I just don't like when I say that. When they have that kind of thing,
Right.
I record that kind of footage for them.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's amazing, bro. Cause like I feel like there's a lot of. It's very interesting because like there's a lot of like, I guess like traditionalists. I guess I'd say that don't really like the whole like social media wave of things of like evangelism. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like. Yes, you could definitely evangelize the old-fashioned way, going out in the streets, like handing out flyers and, reading the Bible to people. But, like, I also feel like another way to evangelize as well is definitely social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what we're doing.
And that's what we're doing, like, through the podcast. And, like, that's what you're doing as well. Like, even shooting promotional content, promoting an event. You don't know if someone's seen that, like, content that you've just helped promote. Like, that someone could go to that and someone looks at that and like, maybe let me go to that, and they could get saved at that event. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting, like how God could even use such a powerful tool like social media, which I feel like we got to use it to the best of our advantage. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Social media is a tool. And,
exactly.
You just got to use it.
No, and I know this because Danny knows this pastor. I don't know if you know this, but you know that pastor. I think his name's Philip Anthony Mitchell. Anthony Mitchell. Is that how you say his name? Philip Anthony Mitchell, right? He's been exploding on Instagram. I love this guy so much. And I
don't know who y'all talking about.
I'll show you later.
Okay.
He's so good. I love this guy. He's like a real preacher of the gospel. And this guy, I saw a video where he was, I think you probably saw this clip, where he, in the middle of the sermon, he points to someone. And he's like, yo, my man, you're the guy that I baptized like a while ago, right? Like you were going to commit suicide, and then you saw our church and came to our church and got saved, right? And then he brought him up, like they honored him and everything. And I found that so interesting because it's like, man, like watch what one post on social media did to this man's life, and people are saying that it's not a tool. Like, of course it's a tool to evangelize. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, after I saw that video, I think my mind just like opened up, like, wow, like we should really be using this to our full advantage. So it's like, it's really cool to see that you're also doing this and you understand that message. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's really important to have that.
Yeah.
Social media is used for a lot of not great stuff, a lot of dark stuff. And, God uses all things for the glory of his kingdom. So even though social media is like, mainstream purpose is to not be great, God can still use that to boost the kingdom.
Exactly. Like he takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it for good.
For sure.
I was talking about this in my philosophy class. I think it was that during our final presentations, like people were giving their philosophy of life. And then this one girl was talking about how she doesn't like social media, she thinks about all the negatives, and we were saying like social media is so negative most of the time, but what's keeping us, they weren't talking about it from a Christian point of view, but that's what I took. And my teacher was like, why don't we use it for good? Why don't we use it to promote healthy things, to not put negative stuff, to boost people up? And I was like, that's exactly it. We don't have to conform to the ways of this world and just accept what negative stuff is.
Too. The Bible says that. Do not be accustomed to the behaviors of this world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind.
Exactly. So go ahead and be different. Who cares? You're not going to be embarrassed. Like, this is a beautiful thing that you can contribute to society and also to expand the kingdom of God, which is like why we're here in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the Great Commission.
Exactly.
So go out and make disciples. Go out and spread his word.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm grateful that we get to do that. And like, how have you liked doing that through social media or like even through your church?
No, it's cool. Content creation is like my passion. So something I heard a long time ago was if you end up doing something that you love, it'll never really feel like a job to you. And most of the time it doesn't. I do what I like to do, and it never feels like a job for me. It's never like a hassle. I get to do it. I don't have to do it. So.
Which is a really good mentality. I feel like it's a healthy mentality to have.
It is a healthy mentality to have because a lot of people, I've always said it's like nowadays you really need to work with what you love. If you don't work with what you love, like I see so many people nowadays, they work with what they're completely miserable in.
Can I talk about this real quick? Because I've been talking about this so much, guys. I know y'all sick of me. My coworkers are sick of me. Y'all are sick of me. I'm graduating this week, right?
I'm not sick of you.
Okay, thanks. And like, I've been talking to a lot of people who don't know what they want to do, and they're going into fields just because.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're gonna waste money
For sure.
because you're not gonna be happy because you're gonna drop out or switch majors or do something because you. And I'm not telling you to decide at 18 years old
Yeah.
or decide right away, but I'm saying seek what you're passionate with and go based off of that. And ask the Lord for guidance because I thought I was gonna be a teacher and God told me to do something else, and I'm doing something else, and I'm way happier now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying about how, oh my God.
Do what you love. Okay.
Yeah, doing what you love.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. And God puts these desires in our heart for a reason. Like, if you think about it, working with social media, working with this stuff, like, depending on who you ask, doesn't seem like a real job.
Mm-hmm.
But God transformed that into your job. And He's blessed you through it. And you get to work with what you love, using the talents that He gave you for His kingdom and for you as well. You know what I'm saying? And God can do that to anybody, no matter what your talent is, and no matter what you like to do.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like He plants that stuff into our heart on purpose.
Yeah. 100%. Just like this podcast as well. Like that was something that was, I'll never forget. My mom she told me that too. He's like, listen, like this podcast, like if you have this desire to do a podcast to evangelize to youth, that's not just your desire. That's the Lord's desire. He planted that in your heart.
No, also because it literally came out of nowhere. Like, I was 16. You were, I think, 18.
Yeah.
And we just went, let's start a podcast. Okay. No experience, no equipment, nothing. No money, no nothing. And guess what? God blessed us. In 3 months, we had everything.
Yeah.
We had a location. We had all the equipment. We had people to help us out. We had guests every single week. And we continue to have an abundance of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was not by our strength at all because we didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like sitting down with Nick and be like, Nick, what the heck are we going to do? Like, I don't know how to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember.
And God has given us all the resources and everything. And so basically what we're trying to say is go for it. And as long as the Lord approves, He will help you out. He will continue to be faithful and He will make it happen.
Yeah. And I honestly think this would kind of carry into our one piece of advice.
Yeah, I was
right?
thinking the same thing.
Our final piece of advice. So like, after everything you've just said about like, you know, your experience in this area and like, you know, even with your walk with the Lord, like what would be your advice to someone that's, you know, currently going down that path, or maybe some encouragement for them, you know?
I'd say don't think too hard on, which is definitely something that I had to learn the hard way, but don't think too hard on how everybody else, you know, don't think too much on how other people see you, and really just focus on, you know, everything that you're doing for the Lord. And, you know, don't let other people's opinions of you change you and mold you into somebody that you're not, because that's something that happened to me, and it was really difficult to get out of that and find out who I am like to myself and who I am in the Lord. So definitely don't let other people's judgments and personal feelings of you mold you into somebody who you're not. And then always just follow your passions, because the Lord put them on your heart for a reason. He gave you the gifts to do what you do, and He did that for a reason. So even if you don't see the bigger picture, He sees the bigger picture, and eventually you'll realize why you do everything that you do.
Amen. Yeah. And it's biblical too. We have to multiply what the Lord has given us, multiply the talents. So it was actually what was preached to us yesterday at our worship devotional that we have before Sundays.
I wasn't singing yesterday.
So, yeah. But it's really interesting that you said that, and it's really, really great advice. So that's pretty much it, guys.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a quick episode, guys. We kind of knew that going in. Also, we know y'all like quick episodes or in long ones. It just depends on the day.
Yeah.
What?
He just said it was 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's what I said in the beginning. I was like, it's going to be like a 30-minute episode. Sorry, guys. I feel like you guys are judging me really bad right now.
Oh.
Gabriel is rolling his eyes. Danny threw his hat on the floor. Okay.
But Mike, thank you so much for coming on this episode.
Yeah, of course.
And it was.
And I'm sorry for the mess we caused in the behind the scenes.
What mess?
Just being stupid.
Oh.
And Gabe.
Nah,
sorry for Gabe.
I know Danny. You know, I expected nothing less from Danny.
Like nothing. Whoa.
Nothing less.
And thank you to my baby girl Alicia, because guys, we were literally spending like an hour. You know, we basically spent an hour doing my cap.
Yeah.
Over an hour.
Literally an hour.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. It came out so cute. We're not done yet. Look on my Instagram. I made a post about it. Look on my Instagram.
But yeah,
in
guys.
the description. And follow Mikey on the Instagram. In the description.
Exactly. All right, guys.
Oh yeah, we're also gonna shout out your production, your company in the description. Y'all better go check it out. And why are you laughing?
Oh my gosh, this episode's so funny, but I love it so much.
Okay.
I'm having a great time.
But yeah, guys, whenever we're like just like the team recording,
We're really just us.
it's a really different atmosphere.
Mikey's still gonna get used to us for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Yeah. Nah, we be going down in the group chat. You see how we be talking in the group chat.
Yeah.
No, but you've been loving
the group chat is different, and now this is for
Like YouTube.
the YouTube.
Yeah. But he loves the group chat,
But
right?
yeah, guys.
You love the group chat,
I
right?
don't like the group chat. I
No?
mute it every day. I'm
Oh.
at work and I'm like Yeah. What, Danny? Facts? Are we agreeing? Okay. I'm just okay.
He mutes it, but it has it open on right next to it.
Oh my gosh.
Right, because you'll be sending messages too. Like,
Nah, Danny will send like one like worded. Like,
well, you could tell he's like following along.
No, I don't think he follows.
Okay.
along.
Anyways,
I don't know.
it's mostly just my brother.
Anyways, Mike, thank you so much for coming on this episode, dude.
course.
Like, it's been so amazing. We're so excited to see what the Lord's gonna do through this podcast. You know, with your editing skills. And guys, you know, let us know if you guys want more. If you guys have any guest suggestions as well.
Yes.
We would love your opinions as well on anyone that we could bring on.
Oh yeah. He's
And
coming, don't worry.
we have
Alicia's
someone as
coming on.
well. Oh, you already spoiled it. Never
I
mind.
said it in the beginning.
Oh yeah, she did say it. Alicia's gonna be coming on very,
Yeah.
very soon. I don't know what.
Remember, she says yes because Miss Girl is being difficult. The next
It's
episode.
the
Okay.
All right, guys.
We could record it at your house.
That would actually.
Wait, that would be
sick.
so sick.
'Cause, like that, her she's got like a nice little
You
like.
got a nice house, guys.
like a nice setup
Not
there.
gonna lie, and it's
Let's
hot
go look at
outside.
the cabin.
Wait, I like this idea.
I like
Okay,
that.
we'll
idea.
talk about it once we turn the cameras off. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Never